Hi, I'm Deanie, and I wanted to just talk to you about how to use somebody else's poetry for inspiration for your own poems. Sometimes it's really hard to get an idea of what sort of poem you want to do. There are all sorts of forms out there, all sorts of styles, and numerous topics. So it's quite nice sometimes to take a poem by someone that you really admire and a poem that you really like, something about it, and just take inspiration from it, copy aspects of it and make it into your own poem. That's exactly what I've done with a poem called Darkness by Arthur Conan Doyle. What I'm going to do is read out his original poem and then explain exactly what aspects of it I took to create my own unique poem from it. Darkness by Arthur Conan Doyle. A gentleman of wit and charm, a kindly heart, a cleanly mind, one who is quick with hand or purse to lift the burden of his kind, a brain well balanced and mature, a soul that shrank from all things base. So rode he forth that winter day, complete in every mortal grace. And then the blunder of a horse, the crash upon the frozen clods, and death? Ah, no such dignity, but life all twisted and at odds in body and in soul, degraded to some brutish state, a being loathsome and malign, debased, obscene, degenerate. Pathology, the case is clear. The diagnosis is exact. A bone depressed, a hemorrhage. The pressure on the nervous tract. Theology, there's the rub. Since brain and soul together fade, then when the brain is dead, enough. Lord help us, for we need thine aid. So the aspects that I took from this poem to write my own poem with, first of all, the subject of the poem, or the theme of the poem. It's in the first verse about a gentleman who is just the perfect gentleman, and he extols all his virtues in that first verse. And then in the second verse, he has him run over by a horse, pretty much almost dead, but not quite. So you take this wonderful man and then you knock him right down, which is quite terrible really, but I do rather like a dark poem, and so that's one of the reasons that I've taken this for my own one. Actually, in his poem, he doesn't quite kill him, he's still alive, and in the end he's wishing for some release of his soul as well as his poor degenerate body, which is terrible really, but it's a great poem in my opinion. So the other thing that I take from it, apart from the story, is the syllable count. In Arthur Conan Doyle's poem, you've got 8 syllables per line, and that's every single line. Even though it didn't necessarily sound like it when I read it, it is. And I'll just read 2 of the lines to you again so that you can hear that 8 syllable count. So you've got the first 2 lines. A gentleman of wit and charm, a kindly heart, a cleanly mind. And if you do that finger thing all the way through, you will see that there are 8 syllables. And I took that for my own poem. I do like to work to a syllable count. It really makes you choose the perfect words. It increases the creativity in some aspects, I feel. The third thing that I took from his poem was the rhyme scheme. He has every other line rhyming. So the second line and the 4th line and the 6th line and the 8th line all rhyme. The lines in between don't rhyme at all. So you've got pairs of lines rhyming with each other. So you've got line 2 is mind, line 4 is kind, line 6 is base, and line 8 is grace. And it goes all the way through the poem like that. So those are the bits that I've taken from his poem to create my own version of that sort of poem. Pelt by Deanie Van Cleef. That's me, by the way. A fox of notoriety, a tail of thick and fiery fur, producer of strong progeny, slime master of the bin procure. A handsome vermin specimen, he spreads his acrid scent with pride, and yowls across the darkened park to claim the night in cocksure strides. Though sleek and smart, this brazen streak has nothing in his repertoire. When blundering on man's great paths, he meets his match, the mighty car. And there his mortal pelt is dashed, his stare is fixed on passing beams, and breath is laboured one last time. Valhalla steals his soul and dreams. So hopefully, having heard me read both Arthur Conan Doyle's poem Darkness and my poem Pelt, you can see how I've taken the inspiration and used it for my own poem. And hopefully that will inspire you to find a poem that you like and do the same. So good luck with it.